All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission meeting for Monday, October 19th, 2020, time 7:04. First item would be roll call vote for the members. How do we want to do this? Want me to just call out your name?
Sure.
Okay, Art,
Present.
Katie Grace,
Gigi Dudley, aye.
Mike,
Here.
Eric,
Here.
and Tracy here. All right, first item on the agenda is going to be the old business. Public hearing continue for 62 Manchog Street, St. Denis Church, earth removal. Steve, do you want to start?
Yeah, so I think we've been working with Allen Engineering, Eric Bazette on this project. I've done a few site walks myself. I think Eric staked out the culvert. He staked out the center line. I think some of the commissions might have gone back out there. I did have a couple, there have been some comments that they're on the Google Drive, and I think Eric's aware of them. There's some comments from the DEP on the proposed project about some of the stuff we already talked about in my comment letter, but they kind of reiterated some of the things about wildlife habitat study, Riverfront area, some other technical stuff I'm sure Eric is looking into. I think Bill Cundiff sent it, or town engineer sent out to Green Pedersen. I saw an email come through about, they must have looked at, Eric, I'm not sure how much you're aware of it, the bridge design. And there were some comments on that, so I forwarded that along. I'm sure he'll address some of that. I don't know if they've been out to the site or not, but I think he's complying with a lot of the Wetlands Protection Act stuff, open ratio and whatnot, but they did have comments, so I'm sure he will address that. And to follow up on my site walk, I went back out there. I noticed that the replication area was close to the crossing, which was elevated, and as the stream comes down, there's also another runoff that intersects right above the culvert, Eric, right where the replication area is, and that might get inundated. You're going to have to do a lot of your disturbance is going to be side slope because it's so, you're probably about 5-6 feet above the stream. And I suggested maybe going down to where the detention pond was, where the ground is a little flatter, the contours are spread out, might be easier to put the replication area in. So that was my suggestion, just to look at that while we're looking at the plan. So in a nutshell, I think he's got planning board, he's still reviewing, and you can update the commission on that, Eric, if you want, and where we stand.
And just let the record show that Mark Muncham has arrived at 7:06, and then Eric can go. You're muted. Oh, sorry. That's me.
How's that?
Perfect.
Okay, so as Steve mentioned, we did meet with the planning board last week.
Name and address, please.
Oh,
We have a new record taker, so
okay.
we kind of have to be
Yep.
a little clearer.
This is
Thank you.
Eric Bazette. I'm with Allen Engineering, representing Pine, Sand, and Stone. So we met with planning board last week, and we've received comments from Bill Cundiff. He's reviewing it both for the earth removal and for the aquifer overlay district. And right now we're in the process of responding to the comments that we've received from Bill and Steve, DEP, and the bridge consultant. And we're making revisions to the plans as we go along. I've been communicating with Steve for any questions I have regarding his comments. And he suggested, as he noted, moving the replication area, and I think that's a good idea if the commission is okay with that, to a flatter area that's away from the stream. So as long as the commission is in agreement with that, we have no objection to that at all. And then I didn't know if there was still any question on the stream flags. I know there was some confusion about it at the last meeting. And I didn't know if, Steve, if you had a chance to just look at the stream flags.
I did go back out there. It's that area, it happens to be, I followed that stream all the way back. It just kind of, it ends, you know, it looks like at one time further up, I don't know if it might have been a farmer's ditch or where a lot of the runoff is coming from. Is the plan on the screen?
Yep.
Right. So right where you had it, I didn't have my measuring tape out there, but you know, that area, you know, it's wide. That's the widest, actually, Eric. It's probably the widest spot because it just kind of the way it flattens out in that area. But as you walk back up into where the stream back here, where it's the intermittent stream is really defined, it's a lot narrower than the area that you're in, and it is also downstream a little bit narrower. So so if I took the width of the stream of the intermittent stream upstream and downstream, it seemed that the area that you're in is the widest area, and if you're compensating for that, it looks like it's adequate. My suggestion is where, I don't know if you can see my cursor right here. Let me see if I can zoom in here. Right here is where the right here is where the replication area is. And the stream comes down this way. There's also a lot of runoff from this wetland that comes down this way too. It's not the fine stream, but it intersects right above where the replication area is.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that this whole area might get inundated, and you might have a lot of channeling, which would ruin that replication area right where you have it located. So I suggested the contour is a little flatter down here.
Yeah.
As well as, and if all right, when you walked in, this path actually came down and you crossed. That's where you crossed that riverbank.
Right.
That area is, when you cross that riverbank, it's kind of shallow in that area. It was relatively flat compared to the surrounding area, and that probably I think would be a better area down in this area where the detention pond is, to put the replication area.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You wouldn't have so much, because you can't count when you do the replication area. Say they have to do 1,000 square feet. You can only count the bottom of the replication area, so you can't count the side slopes if it's up in the hill. So sometimes they disturb 3,000 square feet in order to get the 1,000 square feet of replication, because the side slopes of the hill is steep. So
Yeah,
that
that's a good
was
point to
just one of
see.
my comments going out there. And another one, when I went through the application, Eric, did all the owners sign the NOI? Because I couldn't. They don't print the name, so it's hard to see who signed.
Right. Yeah, I think we owe you a signature for the Maniacs, but we'll get that to you.
That's what I thought. I didn't think it looked like their signature on the NOI. So if you can get us that, we procedurally have to have that.
Yeah, we'll get that for you. And then could I share my screen to show you just one graphic I have, Steve?
Sure. Pat, are you able to give Eric Lizette permission? We have to wait for the cable guy to do it.
On the beach.
Jim
Or
Kelly.
you can email Steve the image.
Well, Pat, usually he might be able to do it.
Yeah, it was just, if you can't, that's okay. I just wanted to explain why the crossing is in the location where it is. And I had something that's colored up here. I could show it to you, and it just made it a little clearer.
You want to email it to me real quick?
Yeah,
That's
let me see if I can do that. Hold on.
That's this guy, Douglas M.A.
Pat's doing it right now.
Oh, Pat's making him host? Okay,
Yep.
great. While we're waiting, did you know if the town engineer or planning board is doing the stormwater review?
I'm pretty sure Bill is doing it because he's asked me for more information regarding the drainage. So, but I didn't ask him specifically if he was doing it. So, but I
Yeah, you want to follow up? I see, because you see the emails. I sent a couple of emails trying to get, and I CC'd you and who's doing it, if they're sending it out, or he's doing it. Like I said, if they're doing it, make sure that they include the Wetlands Protection Act.
right.
Because
Yep.
if not, then we would have to sometimes they do that. They do the review or they send it out and they don't include us, and we're gonna have to hire our own individual consultant, which is gonna be double costly for the applicant.
All right, I'll check with Bill. I'll ask him directly about that.
And if you need something from us, I think the commission is requesting that if who's ever doing it for planning board, that they include the Wetlands Protection Act regulations in their review.
Okay.
Did you know, was Pat giving Eric permission? Do you know, Tracy?
Yeah, I was chatting with him. I'm not sure what yep, he should be able to do it now. Yep.
Okay.
I'll let her-
All right, are you able to see that graphic I have on my screen now, or?
No.
No?
So did you press the green share screen on the bottom middle? Use your cursor.
Do you know how to share screen? Have you shared screen before?
Yeah, I have, but
You have to open it. Make sure the file is open. Open the PDF and then hit the share screen button, and then you should be able to click the file that you want to share screen.
okay, here we go. Are you able to see that now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so this is where we had the wetland crossing located here. We were trying to keep it out of the mapped habitat area, which is this dash line here. So we want it to be on the upstream side of that, but we're trying to keep it on the church property. And this is, the blue line is the church property line. So we had to locate it in between the habitat area here and that the church boundary line here. So that's how it ended up where it was. That and we looked at the flags out there. It didn't seem like the channel was varied that much. You know, the width wasn't that, like you said, Steve. It looked like it might have been an old farm ditch at one time, but there are some flat spots where it widens out, and that might be what you saw there, where we had our culvert located. But one of the things that we're going to try and do also when we go through our addressing the comments and making the plan revisions, we're going to try and narrow this crossing down. Right now, the culvert is 30 feet long, which gives us 60 feet of bank that we have to replicate, and that kicks us into a wildlife habitat evaluation. So we're going to try and get that down below. What we want to have it at is 20 feet, but I'm not sure we can get everything in there at 20 feet, but that's our goal right now, is to reduce the length of that culvert to 20 feet. So that's one of the things that we're looking at doing. This also shows, you know, the future cemetery layout here. It's all within the church property boundary. Everything over on this side of the blue line is the Maniac property here. So none of the cemetery expansion would be proposed in that area in the future. But that's not part of this application. It's just something we're trying to keep in mind as we go along with this now.
And the magenta is the riverfront. So I noticed some DEP comments on the riverfront.
Right. They were requesting we give them an alternatives analysis, and we're under the 10% disturbance of the riverfront for the total area. So, but those numbers I don't think were clear in the on the plan. So, that's one of the other things that we're going to clarify with our response to comments. They also had one other question or a comment about, and I'm not really sure what they meant. They said the Maniac portion of the project, the access driveway, limited access driveway does not appear to apply to the Maniac portion of the project, which is over here. But we need the limited project does apply to the church portion. So that's why we've filed it under that section of the bylaw. So I'm not really sure what DEP's comment was on that. That for the Maniac property, it doesn't apply because we're already across it for the church portion here. And then we don't need a limited project crossing for the Maniac property. So that's just a question we have to work out with DEP, I think.
Right, so when you address the other concerns with the 60 feet of bank and then the riverfront, will you be re-sending that to them for their approval because it's their comments?
Yes, yeah, what we'll do is we respond to everybody's comments and then we copy everybody on everybody else's response. So everybody knows what we're responding to everyone's comments. And that way everybody can see why we're changing things that they might not have commented on. It's because someone else did. So that's how we try and follow up with everyone's comments on these. So that's where we stand now. We're just in the process of making the changes and responding to the comments. And then there's probably going to be other questions we have as we go along. Steve, is it okay if we can we email you with any questions we have?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that seems to work
The
out
big,
well.
the big one that right now I've been holding off on is the stormwater because I don't want to duplicate another board's work if they're already doing majority of the lifting.
Yeah. Okay. I'll send an email to Bill tomorrow and check with him and see what his plan is on that.
Okay, board, do you have any questions or comments at this time on Art?
No, I'm going to go back out again, I think, but no, I don't have any questions.
Okay, Mike,
No questions.
Eric,
What kind of culvert is going in there? Is it a temporary thing or is it?
There is a temporary culvert proposed just for construction. It'd be only in there for about a week, just to get the equipment to the other side while they're working on the footings for the permanent culvert. Then the permanent culvert is a 3-sided open bottom box culvert. It has an 8-foot span on it and it's 30 feet long.
Okay.
I mean, you want to just address, I mean, if you can stop your sharing, I'll bring up the bridge engineer's comments,
Oh, okay. Yep.
just so.
See here.
I think if you.
There we go.
Is this letter up?
yes,
All right, so this is from through the planning board. They must have sent this out.
Yeah.
And it looks like what's this? They dare planning on using a 24-inch pipe during construction and only installing a significantly larger box after construction is complete. Why? Question mark. Since this would be in place for a couple of years, is it okay with? Is Concom okay with the pipe? So I guess that gets to the whole
Yeah.
scenario of a construction sequence, like how long you plan on using that pipe.
Yeah, that 24-inch pipe would only be in there for a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most. So it's not intended to be a long-term solution. It was just while the equipment is working on the permanent box culvert, and that'll be in the construction sequence that we're going to put on the
Typically, right.
plan.
So, if you did it the last 4 or 5 weeks, you'd be all set. But, if we happen to have a monsoon and the pipe is in there, so when you get a 3-inch rainstorm one weekend, you're protected with the
Yeah.
culvert temporarily. And they are calling for the installation of ridge frame as the permanent solution, but have no information on the standard the frame will be designed at, not on the footings of subsurface bearing criteria. So a lot of this is load bearing stuff. So this is more engineering stuff than conservation because you're disturbing the area, but they had those comments.
Yeah, they want more details on the design, which those would just be shop drawings that we get from the precast company. But we'll provide them with whatever they need for the
Okay.
structural design.
All right, very good. I just wanted the commission to know that, there was, the planning board bridge engineer had some comments regarding conservation.
Yep.
Katie Grace, any questions? You're muted.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna remark on the bridge, or the crossing rather, whether it's a temporary crossing or it's a full-time bridge, because I just, the culvert's part of the construction sequence. Is the culvert appropriately sized for the amount of time it's expected to last? I mean, is there a construction sequence that says this is during a dry season?
Yeah, that's typically when it's usually the construction will be conditioned to be during the dry period. So, but like I say, that the 24-inch culvert is only going to be in there for a week or so while they're doing the actual work on the footings and get the preparation for the permanent culvert.
No, and I understand that that's what you're planning. I'm just trying to plan for things that you don't plan, and sometimes I understand that can take a little bit longer. So then the long-term solution, are you planning on building the bridge that will be there long-term going into the future when you go onto a future project, or is it just for the gravel extraction?
Yes, no, this is the permanent bridge that we're building now. This will be for our use, and then also for the future cemetery expansion. If, when it gets to that point, we don't know when that's going to be, but the bridge we're
Understood.
proposing is the permanent solution
Yeah. Okay.
for everything.
Thank you.
And Mark, do you have any questions or comments?
Two questions. One is relative to the entrance drive. It shows a cut through the hill with, I think, 2-to-1 side slopes on both sides. And I want to know how that will be treated, and if that is a permanent, if that's how you're going to be leaving it permanently, or if those side slopes are going to be reduced at some point.
Yeah, that's a permanent cut. It'll be there at a 2-to-1 slope, and typically as soon as that cut is made, it's loamed and then hydroseeded to stabilize it. So, but that's what's shown on the plan would be the permanent grading for that entrance driveway through there.
Is there any reason why that couldn't be a softer slope?
It would just, if we made it a flatter slope, it would extend the limits of disturbance. We try and minimize the amount of disturbance we have just for the entrance portion. It's probably all good gravel through there, so it would be to our benefit to take more out. But a 2-to-1 slope is considered about as steep as you can go and still stabilize things with loam and seed. Beyond that, if you get any steeper, you get into a riprap slope, which really we don't like the appearance of those, and I don't think it would be good for the future of the cemetery expansion.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it any steeper. I would like to have it be a gentler slope so that you can be more ensured of having plant material on it and not having it wash. And my second question was on the grading of the actual pit itself. Has that been revised, or is that the same as the initial application? Do you know?
We haven't revised the grading on the pit at this point. I know that we're dealing with the planning board right now with a hydrogeologist and taking another look at the groundwater elevation. So the grades may change on the pit, but there hasn't, at this time, there hasn't been any changes made to that.
Right. Because my comment would be that I would like to see maybe 2 detention basins and a separate drainage outlet on the southwestern side of that area. It looks like you coming back to grade at that point, and we could take water off at a separate point.
Yeah, I think that came up at the last meeting too, and that's one of the things we're taking a look at is adding another basin onto there and having another stormwater discharge point. After the earth removal is complete, the site will be loamed and seeded, and the runoff, because of the soil type there. It's a real sandy material. There's very little runoff from that for smaller storms, even up to like a 10-year storm. You have virtually no, it just doesn't generate any runoff for those storms. So, but we are taking a look at adding another basin on there.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but you're probably right. It isn't going to run off of that sandy soil. Thank you.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns about this hearing? You may unmute yourself. Bob, Alex, Sabina. No.
Yes, sign Sabina, I'm here.
Are you here? What hearing are you here for?
I'm sorry.
Which address are you here for?
25 Ritchie Road.
Okay. All right. You can mute yourself. Thank you. I'm just going to mute you. Okay. I'm not seeing anyone, so we'll entertain a motion to continue this hearing.
So moved.
Do we know when the next meeting? I forgot to.
November 2nd
Is it the 2nd?
at 7 p.m.
All right,
So
great.
moved.
Okay. Motion been made and seconded. Roll call vote.
Seconded is the thing that I did.
Yeah, Katie Grace, you seconded, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I said so moved, I meant seconded.
Oh, okay. All right. So Art made the motion, Katie Grace seconded, and roll call vote. Art,
Aye.
Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Mark. Mark's muted. Mouthed aye, and Eric.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Eric.
All right, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a request for determination of applicability, RDA Public Meeting 37 Glen Street, CCAP LLC. I'll read the article. Mute you. Oh. All right. RDA for 37 Glen. The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public meeting for CCAP LLC on October 19th, 2020 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act. Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed request for determination of applicability work location is 37 Glen Street, and the applicant is requesting permission to regrade their front lawn. Public participation will be via virtual means only pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Douglas Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted or on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the request for determination of applicability may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission at 508-476-4000, extension 205. Allen Engineering and Associates, Allen Engineering and Associates, Inc. Okay. So, who do we have presenting for this? Brian, you're muted. And we can't hear you. We cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think my phone was resting on top of its microphone. So I'll just hold it here. Am I good to present?
Yes, go for it. Name and address, please.
My name's Ryan Hassett, civil engineer for Allen Engineering and Associates, representing CCAP LLC tonight. So like you read in the advertisement, we're proposing the regrading of the front lawn to a more consistent slope from the driveway down to the road. We have proposed silt fence with straw bales all around the work. The driveway that's already there is to remain unchanged, not creating any new impervious areas from what's existing today. And yeah, the resource area for this one is located across the street on the other side of Glen Street. The closest work that we come to it is 66.7 feet. So yeah, so with that, I'd like to turn it over to the board for questions or comments.
Okay, Steve, you're out there. You took some pictures for us. They're in the Google Drive.
Yeah.
Did you want to add anything before I open it up to the board comment?
Let me see. Let's see. Let's see. Can you see that? I was hoping I could. See the photo at all?
We can see it.
Hang on one second.
Oh, I can see it on my screen.
Hang on one second. I gotta close out some stuff. Can you see the photos at all, or no?
Yes.
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 It's just not. I can't scroll through them. Let me just bring up a good photo. Hang on, that shows it all. Sorry. Hang on one second.
Brian, could you mute yours for a moment? Thank you.
Hang on one second. All right, here we go. This one kind of captures it all. So this is off of Glen Street. Can you see that photo?
Yes.
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 So I'm on the driveway and there's a intermittent stream across the street. And so this area here is an area that, a pocket that wasn't on the original notice of intent, which is still active, that they would like, while they're still grading, the whole entire site has been hydroseeded and graded, and the whole entire site is pretty stable. I think they'll be coming in within the next couple of weeks for a certificate of compliance. But before they did that, they would like to take this area. And go ahead, Brian, if you want to explain what you want to do.
All right, so we just want to grade from the edge of the driveway.
Can't hear you.
How about now?
Yeah.
I hear you.
You have a weird microphone tonight.
Sorry, yeah, I got a new phone recently. I think I got a new case on it too, so that might have.
That's the problem, the case.
I'll take it off next time around. I won't try to fumble with it now. Sorry about that. But yeah, so we just want to grade a more consistent slope all the way down. You can see it kind of slopes down as quickly as it can. So it gets to that spot where the existing grade was. And it kind of flattens out. So what they're looking to do is just make it more consistent, you know, throughout the whole lawn, a nice consistent slope right on down to the road. And then, yeah, like I mentioned before too, you know, we're proposing, you know, silt fence with straw bales, you know, up against the road, up the driveway on one side, and then on the other side as well, all the way up the driveway and then along the roadway and the property line too.
Okay. Board, do you have any questions, comments, starting Art?
Are these pictures going through?
You gotta mute.
Brian, mute.
I
your
muted him.
phone. Jeez.
Sorry, Steve. What are you saying? The pictures, I'm seeing the pictures.
Okay, great.
Okay. Art, anything?
No, it makes sense to me.
Okay. Katie Grace, you're muted.
No, thank you. So grading up to this area or grading including this area? Like, I'm confused because like this isn't a resource area. This is just like an
Buffer.
sorry.
The intermittent stream. It's a buffer to the intermittent stream across the street.
This is buffer area. Okay. No, thank you. I wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure. I was looking at I was trying to
Yeah,
figure.
it looks like a little, yeah.
It's just
like
a
a-
little tiny meadowy area.
Yeah, it looks like a little catch basin.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is like, would this area still, is this area part of the grading or are we grading up to it?
No, we would be grading up to the road, or well, to the property line, so almost to the line of the street. So the area that you see now, that's surrounded in erosion control. That's the area that they want to be able to grade through. But right now we can't because on the proposed plans from way back when there was gravel extraction way behind the house. The plans have shown, the silt fence running right where it is. And since that order of conditions has since expired, and we also aren't in a position right now to get a full certificate compliance, that's why we wanted to propose this RDA so that we could go grade down through that area. Kind of a unique situation with that, I think.
Yeah. I don't love it. I kind of like I just kind of like the little meadowy area that it is. I just don't want it to end up being lawn, is what I'm getting at. Like, I understand you want a more gradual grade because you don't want anything to wash out, but like, I'm worried that this whole area is just going to be part of the lawn where it could be, better habitat space.
Well, yeah, that definitely would be the intention, would be to make it lawn.
Okay, Mark, we'll come back to you, Katie Grace.
Yeah, when I looked at the plan, I didn't understand why we're filing. I don't see any wetland buffer line or anything on the plan. So that's what I'm confused about.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. The 100 should be shown on your submitted plan.
Right, because we didn't have this area flagged, I was able to get the center line of the brook off of Mass GIS.
Yeah.
We didn't want to show a 100-foot buffer because obviously that's not quite as exact as having it flagged. So that was the reason. But I do have that's why I didn't want to include the dimensions too. Also, showing that we don't get any closer than like I said, 66.7 feet to the center line of that brook.
So that is in the buffer, that area that was not graded, that has the meadow type environment, that is the current buffer line.
Correct. I don't know if it's the buffer line, but I know definitely that, yeah, the area that we would want to grade is within the 100-foot buffer, yes.
All right. Thanks.
Did you put those dimensions anywhere on anything you submitted?
Yeah, the dimensions are on the plan. You can see there. I don't know if you have the ability to zoom in or not.
I'm looking at what's in our packet. Oh, so you're saying the entire area, even the existing lawn area, is going to be re-graded down to the street?
Yeah, correct. That's right.
And you have the measurement on here, the center line of the brook
Yep.
to the, or the hay bales is 67.5 across the street.
Yes, that's right.
I think the buffer line should be on the plan. I don't understand it not being on the plan.
Good point.
Good point.
I mean, how can we issue a decision without knowing where the buffer zone is?
Okay. I did the bang on goose.
If this was a new construction project, I would say that the lawn can only go up to the buffer zone. And I don't see where that is on the plan.
Yeah, this is a little tricky because the existing order you're saying has expired.
Yeah.
So we would essentially, in that existing order shows all the dimensions and the buffer.
Yeah, I believe so. I wasn't part of that filing. But I think I remember seeing that. A lot of the resource area that was included in the previous file was for further back behind the house. So I know you'd have to take my word for it at this point, but the buffer zone would be, you know, just in this front lawn area. Yeah, because a lot of them were different area. That is making sense.
Steve, what are your thoughts on this?
I agree with what everyone says. You know, I didn't pick up on that with the buffer. Absolutely, you know, I'm okay with at least, you know, doing the center line because you can pick that up it's a pretty distinct brook. So they can probably pick up the center line of the brook with, it's probably, you can jump over it, probably about 3 feet wide, but from the earth or Google Earth, but you definitely should have the buffer zone. So, you know, the distinction.
Yeah, I mean,
And I would
this
put,
this
and
in
I would
front of us is an RDA. So we've taken hand-drawn sketches of people estimating the edge of the line.
right.
And there's documentation on where that edge is. I do agree that it should be shown on the plan, but you know,
Yeah, they should.
it's so scientific for an RDA, you might as well, you know, vote a positive and have
Well,
them file an NOI.
Well, I think they're coming in, they should be coming in with a certificate of compliance because all that they're waiting for is the replication. So they should have a lot of that as-built completed, which I think they have here. This might be a proposed and part of an as-built.
No, they would be coming in for a request for a certificate of compliance, but they don't want to do that until they
Right.
are going to complete this work. So as far as the 0 to 100, you should have just scaled it off across the street because the rest of the lawn area is obviously beyond the, you know, 70 feet or whatever, you know, like 0 to 100 is the whole entire front yard. We're in 100% of the 0 to 100 in the front yard area. If the stream is across the street. Do you follow my logic? Everything it's the straightforward request to regrade what is existing there and include that undisturbed area.
But the plan is showing, when you look at this plan, it's showing that they're asking for RDA to grade everything they show on both sides of the driveway.
Right, so from the 67 to the 100, they're in our jurisdiction. So they're
Yeah,
asking for anything that falls within the 60, let's just say 66 feet to 100, they're asking to regrade.
Is that what Brian, is that what you're asking? You're just asking to regrade that little area that was never graded.
That's correct. Yeah. Well, they want to grade continuously from the driveway down to the road, and that would include that
Wow.
You're using new contour lines. These are new contour lines, correct? That are on your plan?
That's correct.
That's why they're wrapping the whole entire thing with the erosion control, not just that little
Wow.
pocket. So my point is, we know that the center line, let's just say, is 60, you know, the edge of the BVW, let's just say, is 66 or 65. 65 to 100 is our jurisdiction. And they're requesting to do that activity, the regrading and lawn and seeding within the 100 to 66 buffer. I mean, the majority of the 66 to 100 is already disturbed area. So they're not going to come for a certificate of compliance, but their order is expired. So that's why they came to do the RDA to cover that activity. And we have to determine, does that activity trigger the need for a new filing of a new NOI for grading and establishment of lawn area in a, do you have the square footage on the top of your head? What the square footage is? But anyway, you would call it the whole of that area, because now you're some of it was already covered in the original order, but now you're redoing it. So does this constitute a refiling of an NOI? Is what we have to determine, what's the threshold? Or have they satisfied the board enough where it's showing the limit and everything beyond that limit, the 66 to 100 is in our jurisdiction. They can do whatever they want outside of that. Or do we absolutely need the other side, the BVW, if we've got the center line of the brook?
Being that they don't have a certificate of compliance yet, can the existing notice of intent be amended?
It's expired and wasn't extended, or it was already extended one time. So it's,
Sure.
so they
Sure.
can't
Okay,
do,
I'm sorry, that's right.
yeah, technically they can't do any activities without permission from us, whether it be
Right.
the negative or another order. But for this type of activity, would you want them, do you think it warrants a filing of a new order? I'm just throwing it out there. Anybody can say. You know, if there wasn't a street in between,
I'd say that they should get their certificate.
so if they get their certificate, then they can't regrade the area. Let's see.
Without filing again.
Right. So before us,
Or seeking an
they're
RDA.
requesting, it's a request for determination. Does this require, is this gonna negatively affect, or does it fall under Wetlands Protection Act or our local bylaw? And does it warrant an order of conditions to be issued on the property to have that control? Or does the activity commence and then when they file their certificate of compliance, you know, it has to be a certain way before we issue their certificate of compliance? Is it merely a revision on the plan showing the buffers and showing the area, or is it the activity that you think that falls under the Wetlands Protection Act?
Well, to me, it falls under the Wetlands Protection Act. It seems to be an unnecessary activity to me, but I'm not the landowner. The landowner has every right to ask for it. I just think it's unnecessary.
So, I mean, to me, it sounds like it's a new filing. Oh, but they never got the certificate of compliance. Yeah, I don't know.
So you're saying,
Well, I was
some shrubs and trees, no structure. So exempt buffer zone activities, Steve, this would be covered under exempt activity under Wetlands Protection Act, right? Or no?
No, because it's not.
Grading.
No, well, it's not a structure. It's grading, it's disturbance.
I didn't say structure.
Right, right. No, it's not exempt. And the lot's not, the lot is newer than 96.
Okay. So
I mean, Mark, they could
we
do.
have to make a decision here, which way we're going. Mike Greco,
A little confused as to what they're doing and why. I mean, based on the photos that I've seen on the screen here, he's got a seeded lawn. And it's very steep coming down, and he wants to regrade it and reduce the steepness of that. Is that what's
yeah,
the-
Brian, if you could just chime in.
No, that's right. Just want to have it be a consistent slope from the driveway down to the street instead of a steeper slope followed by kind of a flat kind of depression area.
Yeah, I was under the assumption that all this work that, he's showing a grading plan on both sides of the driveway and in this upper hill, they don't plan on, if they get the RDA, I don't see them disturbing this entire area that was already loomed and seeded. I thought they were just gonna just regrade the area that looks like a rain garden.
No, the whole area gets regraded.
So Brian, they're regrading the entire area all over again?
Yes, all the way from the front of the house down.
Well, from the front of the driveway down, yeah.
Why?
Well, because that's what the homeowner wants to do. They want to have a more consistent slope from the driveway down to the road, but it wouldn't. Right now, it's a consistent slope from the driveway down to the edge of the silt fence that's currently there. But obviously, they wouldn't be able to go and remove that and grade in that spot right now without getting a negative determination on this RDA. So that's why we're here for you.
So the driveway's in, they're gonna regrade the left. You're showing this guy standing on it, he's gonna get regraded.
What?
No, I do
Yes,
have.
that's what the plan shows.
Over there, but I don't see why they would need to regrade over there anyway.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I was in the impression when I went out there and talked to these guys, this is the only area that they were gonna work, and they were just gonna take this area and fill it in and loom and seed it to match the existing contours, but I could be wrong. I don't know why they would regrade everything then where they just loomed and seeded. All of this, they're gonna regrade all this lawn that you just did? Or they're just gonna regrade everything that's in this undisturbed area?
No, the plan, as far as it's ever been, I've ever discussed it, has been to again have that consistent slope all the way down. It's just that one area that's encapsulated by erosion control right now that prevents that from kind of happening. So you wouldn't want to try to start to regrade it and then have it be an even steeper slope towards that. And I don't think that would make a lot of sense.
Eric, anything? So Mike, you're okay with his explanation, right? And we did get clarification that it's the entire area that you're showing with the solid lines that are proposed grades, the applicant wants. Yes?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. All right, Eric.
Yeah,
Oh, Mike, sorry, Mike.
it's okay. I guess I get it. I'm not sure why, but the question is that okay, what they want to do?
Right, the question is, it's an RDA, will the activity alter the resource area?
So
That's
the
across
first
the
area
street.
is across the street, right?
Yes, there is a road in between.
And we don't know where the buffers are, 50 foot or 100 foot or.
Right.
You at least ought to get a plan that shows that.
The plan shows the center line of the stream
Yeah.
at 67 feet. Okay, Eric, your turn.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with everyone else is saying, that I don't like the idea, and plan doesn't really show where everything is, so, I mean, yeah.
Okay, so do we want to move on this? Do we want to continue? Do you want a more detailed plan?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to see, a more detailed plan. I thought I understood it, but now I'm not sure I do.
Okay,
So if we could get a plan with the buffer zones clearly marked out on there, I'd feel better to take a look at that.
okay. So the buffers, the existing area that's undisturbed, and if the applicant actually wants to do that entire area as regrading.
Yeah, doing some of it over again.
Or would we be, obviously, we don't really care so much around about the out of the 100, but if we were just looking at taking care of that area that's undisturbed, that would probably be better for the board, right? Versus regrading the entire, disturbing the entire area. And if the applicant could meet us in the middle on that, then it would just, it seems as though it comes down and then it just flattens out from
Yes.
the grades that are out there. So if, I would talk to your applicant but you can of course do whatever you want to do. But the board does need to keep in mind that we've had less for closer for an RDA, and that we're trying to determine if this will alter the resource area. So versus the requirement for a notice of intent. So that's kind of what we have to keep in mind, even though, things aren't shown on the plan.
Tracy, from my perspective, it wouldn't meet the RDA requirements if there was no grading. If the landowner just wanted to convert that area to, seeded lawn like the rest of it, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I'm not in favor of grading and redisturbing the whole slope down to the road.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. That's what I thought we were talking about at the beginning. It doesn't make sense to me that they did this already and now they want to do it over again. Why didn't they contemplate doing this right from the beginning?
Well, I can speak on that.
Sure.
Because the plans that were initially shown, I believe I didn't design it. I don't think, I'm not sure if my company did at all, but I know I wasn't a part of it. The erosion control line was just shown. I think they tightened up all the proposed contours, and so that it would minimize the amount of fill, and in theory, minimize the amount of cost to build the whole place. So what they did was they showed the erosion control as tightly fitting as they could around all the proposed area, which created that little pocket that you see in the front yard right now. And so that's why it wasn't done initially. I looked at the plans too, from the original notice of intent that was proposed on this site. And I looked at it and I said, I don't know how they did it that way either. But yeah, no, we're just trying to go back and correct that now, and really the only kind of option that we have, which is through this RDA, since the order's expired. We can't really modify it. We can't really, and we're not in a position to get a certificate of compliance yet. I believe that's for the wetland replication that's located way far behind the house. So because we can't do all that, that's what kind of lands us in the spot here with this RDA.
Okay. Board, any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to continue. November 2nd.
Yeah, so moved.
Second,
Motion been made by Art, second by Mike. All those in favor, roll call. Art,
Aye.
Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I just ask, I guess, one more potential question just to make sure that I'm getting all the takeaway messages here? That the commission would like to see the 100-foot buffer, the existing erosion control, and then you'd like me to reaffirm with my client exactly what they want to do out there. It sounds like there's a little bit of a discrepancy between what Stephen had heard and then kind of what I had been expecting. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you
Okay,
understood that. I didn't.
he said everything that we went over.
Okay.
See what he comes up with next time.
Yeah, plan with the buffer, plan to reiterate with his client about what he's actually doing, the activity, see if he can draw that back. Hopefully that was just a miscommunication or something, I'm not sure, but yeah, Steve, please make sure that that plan is good enough for us for next time.
I will.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is 34 Conservation Drive. It's an RDA. Is anyone here for that meeting? Margaret's supposed to be presenting that, right?
Yeah, I didn't get any information from them. So I know she's been very busy. I know she was supposed to be doing a revised plan.
Yeah.
I can touch base with her for next meeting.
Yes, please touch base. So I'll entertain a motion to continue that RDA for 34 Conservation.
So moved.
Motion been made by Art,
Second,
second by Mike. Roll call vote. Art,
Aye.
Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next item would be new business, a public hearing open 55 Lakeshore Road, possible votes. I did not read this newspaper ad, right?
You need to.
Yeah, why does it say open next to it?
Where-
To open? Okay, the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on October 19th at 7 PM for a notice of intent filed by David Cahill located at 55 Lakeshore Drive, parcel B, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves the restoration of vegetation within the buffer zone of Lake Manchog. Public participation will be via virtual means only pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order of suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, section 18, and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Douglas Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice of intent may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission at 508-476-4000 extension 205.
So this is in regards to the violation. I think the easiest thing, I took a 50-second video. Maybe I can do a video of the entire site and then put the plan on and have Bob Murphy talk about what the NOI is about.
Yeah, we're probably gonna need to discuss the violation fee
True.
too before that.
So let's
Do I
see.
do before or after?
I will do it after so you can kind of see. Is this on the plan? Is the video showing?
Yes.
All right, so I'm down at the lower area, so this is the cottage up in here. This is the area. Well, No, I got the wrong video. Hang on.
Yeah, I was like, this looks exactly like the last time he was here. I was like, that red canoe and everything.
That was when they filed for the,
Yeah, they did file for a little clearing to get to the water.
they did. My bad. Okay, here we go. Hang on one second. Much better. Okay, so this is same area. So this is the gravel. They came up and put this gravel road in. You can kind of see it. It's Bob, if you've been out there, you can see how it's eroding a little bit. This is they created a little access path up from the top where the cars are parked down to this area here. This is the area that they came in a couple of years ago to ask to be cleared. This is the shed that was installed without a permit and without Conservation Commission approval. And then they did some clearing up in this area up here. I don't know what they were creating here, but they did some clearing in there. And they cleared along this where the silt fence is. And they cleared a little bit over here. Nice view.
Mhm.
It was a beautiful day. And so that's pretty much the legit of the areas that were disturbed. And I think Bob wants to talk. I think he submitted it. I got a plan here. Let me bring the plan up. So this is the access road coming down. This is the shed right here. And this is that area to the right that they cleared. Bob, are you here, Bob Murphy?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep. Did you see all that?
Hope I'm not muted. Yeah, we'll hold that view of the plan. Hold that view of the plan. I'm Bob Murphy with Murphy Associates Environmental Consultants, and I'm here tonight to represent David Cahill. Initially to respond to a violation notice that was that he received in August 14th. If you look at the the map that you're looking at right now, you've got a parcel B. I don't know if you could see my mouse or not, but you have parcel B, and that is the main area where the driveway, the path down to the house is located. But we also have another parcel that is owned by another party, and that's lot 3. And so we actually made 2 filings on this property. The notice of intent that we're discussing at this time relates to parcel B. And what we're proposing is to, on the driveway area, all the areas on parcel B that were basically regraded in the existing driveway, those areas are to be planted with grass, native grasses, and we actually have a moss mix now that we can put in, and some shrubs in the area. Right now you've got mountain laurel growing pretty well. It's a very acidic soil, a poor soil really, but the mountain laurel will do well there, as well as the moss. the idea is to stabilize all of the disturbed areas in parcel B. And again, that's under the notice of intent. So that requires an order of conditions. And what this plan shows, the majority of the construction part, for instance, the shed is on lot 3. The debris pile and a lot of the stone at the lower area, that's on lot 3 as well. So, but that's a separate filing. But just to give you an explanation, I did speak with Mr. Cahill and the owner of lot 3, Jack Goodison. He was trying to stabilize the driveway with stone because there was quite a bit of erosion going down. It's a dirt gravel driveway that had no stabilization at all. Unfortunately, he did it without, going through the proper channels. So that's why we're here tonight. But his intentions were pretty much to stabilize that driveway so that he could get down to the house with a car. If you look again on lot 3 of the house, the driveway in that area goes down the hill. He's hoping to have his mother visit him at the house, and she couldn't go down. She couldn't walk down the steps. But anyway, the purpose of this notice of intent is to explain how we propose to remove all of the stone, all of the gravel and everything, the stone that was put on the driveway. And we're going to revegetate it. The reason being that the original driveway, even though it was used by Mr. Cahill, to drive down to the house, it wasn't paved. It was a dirt driveway. It did have vegetation on it. It had some sparse grass and mostly moss and a few shrubs. But, it wasn't driven on a great deal. And for that reason, the vegetation was, it was in poor condition, but it was there. Right now, pretty much all the vegetation has been scraped away, and that has to be brought back. So the details that I have are to show how the planting is to be done, the shrubs to be put in, and also the intent. Well, the reason why parcel B was created is to provide waterfront access to the property across the street, which is where Mr. Cahill lives right now. So he split off that property when he sold lot 3. So you can see I'm putting in stone steps, flat natural stone steps. There's a lot of flat granite in this area. There's a tremendous amount of rock. And the idea is it's all rocky now. But we want to put in the steps so they have access, vegetate it with grass. And because it is a fairly steep slope, you can see we've got check dams with, we are making check dams from straw wattles. In this case here, there'd be 12-inch straw wattles. That's basically to protect the planted areas. If you're familiar with the kind of rainstorms we've been having lately, we really need to protect the loam and seeded areas during heavy anticipated rain. Fortunately, we haven't planted it yet because it would have been all washed away. This was an existing driveway. It was not paved. It was just basically a dirt driveway that served the house on lot 3. The land now is parcel B will provide access to the waterfront so that you could you could walk down. It'll be grassed in. But like I say, the stone that was brought in for the driveway and all that, that's all going to be removed. Now this all pertains to parcel B. The reason I put this on one plan was basically a master plan to show where there are other areas that were altered. And, you know, you could see where the shed went, the compost pile, that the pile of debris is mostly compost. You know, those areas are going to be repaired as well. But we chose to do that as a separate filing because there are two properties now. There are two owners. I did file an RDA on that, but because the two properties had the same address, I think there was some confusion. But again, the idea is to repair parcel B as an order of conditions, and actually we'll have a separate hearing, I guess, for the remainder of lot 3. That's pretty much a synopsis of, you know, what we're proposing. And, you know, with that, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. So the work that you're proposing, you couldn't just add the lot 3 owner onto the master plan to cover it under the NOI?
Well, generally, the DEP likes to have a separate filing for different properties. If it were, you know, if it were okay with the commission, I'd be happy to, you know, I'd like to see all of the planting and everything done, you know, at the same time. In other words, this area would be, you know, you bring in some loam and regrade, take out all the stones. So you'd have to kind of replace a little bit of loam, some of the compost that was, you know, moved around, and then plant it. You could hydroseed this area with these conservation grasses and even the mosses. And it would be good if we could do it all at the same time. That's pretty much up to the commission.
Yeah, so just for clarification, at the time of the violation in early August, lot 3 was owned by there was no parcel B yet. There was an A&R plan probably approved by planning board, but I don't know if it was recorded at the time. So lot 3 was still owned all by the Cahills at the time of the violation and parcel B. I think subsequently they've sold, I'm just guessing that they sold lot 3. So
Yeah.
lot 3 is a separate owner than parcel B. So it looks like they want to segmentate the violation. Parcel B was part of the violation would be under the Cahills, and lot 3 part of the violation would be under the new owners. The owners, they did file an RDA and an NOI for both and place the legal ads, but on our part there was some confusion. So the RDA, even though they filed for both and their legal ads are placed, the RDA did not get on the agenda. We thought it was a mistake, which it turned out it wasn't. So we certainly can open up both of them and continue the RDA to the November 2nd after we're done.
The NOI that we're talking about right now, Steve, could you upload that to the file? We just have the RDA. I just wanted to take a look at the parcel information. Because you're saying that the property street address is the same address for both parcels, correct?
Well, with the assessors, it's all, the assessors haven't updated the map, so it's shown as 55.
Okay.
But in order to differentiate, we have it 55 as lot B, and then
I don't have the
55 lots.
I don't have the NOI on the shared drive.
Yeah. It was submitted as a PDF, so you might have it in a PDF file.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as the lot description basically follows the assessors, you know, the assessors map. They have it as, you know, map 110 parcel 39.
Mhm.
And the only real difference from the other RDA is the explanation: restore an existing dirt driveway within the 100-foot buffer zone to original vegetated condition. Grade the area to reduce potential for erosion. Add stone steps to help stabilize the slope. That's the difference between that and the RDA. The RDA is basically to remove the sheds and stabilize the soil.
Okay. All right. Board, generally, any questions right now? Do you want to take up the violation, the fine first, or do you want to wait till the end before we close and issue the order? All right.
I was wondering how much slope is there by this old driveway that we're talking about?
It's in some areas it's like a one, numerically it's 1 in 4.5 feet. It's essentially every 4.5 feet you down.
Up in one? Yeah. So it's pretty steep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's steep, and like I say, they've been using it as a driveway for quite a while, and that's why, as a dirt driveway, you know, you could see evidence. They've had erosion there, you know, over the years.
That's why.
Yeah, it's fairly steep, and quite honestly, the new owner has no intention of, you know, having he would like to have a paved driveway down to his house. So he's presently working on a plan to have the driveway come in on the far side of the house, nowhere near this area. And, you know, he's going to have a driveway to the house, but it comes in from another part of the property. So this area here is going to be vegetated.
Katie Grace?
I don't feel strongly whether we do the violation at the beginning or the end. That doesn't make any difference to me.
Okay, let's
I
do
super
the
appreciate this plan coming out though. Like, I think, you know, the due diligence was definitely done. This has got a lovely level of detail, and I appreciate that.
Okay, I'm still not quite sure if we should have them combine the activities. I'm still thinking that through.
I don't feel strongly one way or another about
One
that
is
either.
tied into the other. Steve, you're shaking your head no, do not.
Well, it's two different owners. It's two, you know, it gets convoluted on you. One owner is responded to the other, so
Okay.
property segmented, and
Okay.
we'll go
I
with.
agree with Steve. That makes sense.
Okay. All right, Mike,
Yeah, I agree with what was just said.
do you have any questions on the restoration plan and the proposed activities?
No, actually, it'll be, sounds like it might be an improvement
Yeah, with the steps instead of the driveway.
in the right direction, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mark?
I couldn't see on the plan, but I would like to see the specifics of the plant material that are being proposed. The grasses, the moss, and any other plants.
They should be on they are on the plan.
Yeah, just the New England erosion control restoration mix for dry sites. If you have that cut sheet handy, or we can get that for the next meeting. And then the plants are up top. Mark, if you can get to the Google Drive.
Okey-doke.
There is a cut sheet. There is a cut sheet in the notice of intent.
Oh, we don't have it.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you what it is. It's a red fescue. A Marion, I think it was a Marion bluegrass, but it's a specific mix for dry sites with acidic soil. And
Can you see on the screen the plant specifications up on the top right?
Yes, I do see that now. I was only seeing the bottom of the screen. I couldn't see the top when it was done. So
yeah, we bring in the annual ryegrass as a quick germinator. that is annual. What it does is it holds the soil for the first year. The red fescue and the white clover and the mosses, they are perennial. They come in a little bit slower, which is the ryegrass comes in right in through December. So, our intention is to move this along as quick as possible, just to take advantage of the good weather, stabilize it as quick as possible. The mountain laurel and the checkerberry, those are actually shrubs. I put those in basically to provide more of a natural setting. I don't want it to look like, a graded cut area. I want it to look more natural. There are checkerberries and mountain laurel growing very well there now. And there's also a tremendous amount of stone all over the place, so the rocks will fit in well too. If I could make one request at this point, because I can see where we're going. The applicant has requested, in lieu of, say, of fines, a violation or whatever, they would like to provide you with a bond showing what the anticipated cost to do this work, and to pretty much bond it to have it done, this year, before the freeze. That again, that's a request by them. You can approach that however you wish.
Yeah. I don't think we are ready to act on that fine, but I would be against that. The applicant has been in front of this board within the last couple of years and requested from us a permit. And I think generally speaking, they knew that they were in a resource or jurisdictional buffer of a resource. So since they have been here previously, so that's all I'll say about that. You're within 100 feet. You came in front of the board recently, within the last couple of years. The bond is nothing that, we would be interested in. It's more the fine of doing the work and then waiting for someone to notice to come to us. So we appreciate the restoration plan though.
Well, if I could just add to that, just to clarify a couple of things. I'm certainly not justifying, not approaching the commission and, doing this kind of work. Mr. Cahill is the owner. Unfortunately, he's not the one that did the work. He was in the process of selling this to someone else who took it upon themselves. Apparently, Mr. Cahill I know he was aware that he had planned on working on the driveway, but he was kind of shocked when he saw how much work that he actually did. However, it is his property. He's responsible for it, and he understands that. But this was really a kind of a miscommunication between his buyer and the applicant. But he understands this is his property. He has to bite the bullet, so to speak.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. Thank you. Eric, do you have any questions for now?
Not right now. I mean, the restoration plan, restore and make it better.
Cannot hear what you're saying. What?
No, we're good.
All right. Did I get that right? Mark, you already commented, right? You have anything follow up?
No.
Okay. All right. Board, nothing. Do we want to go see the site? Did everybody go out there? Do we want anything staked out?
I'd like to see the site, but I certainly don't want to hold up a vote if the rest of the board is ready.
Okay. Board, any opinions? Do we have enough information?
Sorry, Tracy, what are we looking?
We're looking to issue an order of conditions for the proposed restoration and the additional work of changing the driveway into stepping stones.
Do we really have enough information to do that?
The
I'm
only
not
thing
saying
I
we
don't
don't.
have is the copy of the NOI. I feel like people are getting sleepy a little bit.
Well, yeah, I am. No, honestly,
What do
I'm
you-
exhausted,
what do
but
you
like,
think?
I can't think of what else I would need for this plan.
I think the only impactful thing would be the stones, the driveway to the stepping stones, right? Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it's stone, so it's not like it's
Right,
moon
right.
and seed. It's gonna wash away. I think the stone is pretty much gonna be pretty stable as they put it down.
Mark? Anything?
I'm sorry, I got a really bad connection, so it's really breaking up, but I'm fine with the plan.
Okay, Mike?
I just think if they plan on doing it this fall, that
Yeah. All right, so I'll entertain a motion for a fine amount for the violation of doing various activities within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission without a permit.
We traditionally go between $100 and $300. I'm gonna propose $300.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second,
Second by Mike. Roll call vote. Art,
Aye.
Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And then I'll entertain a motion to issue the order of conditions for 55 Lakeshore.
close the public hearing.
Oh yeah, close oh, anyone in the public have any questions on this? Comments? I apologize. Thank you, Steve. All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Motion been made by Art,
Seconded.
second by Katie Grace. Roll call vote. Art,
Aye.
Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Okay. Now I'll entertain a motion to issue.
Oh,
Are you good or?
no, go for it.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to issue the order of conditions, the standard order of conditions, and this plan will be executed in the fall. And they'll talk to the conservation agent while placing any erosion controls in place, and that they follow the plan dated. Do we have a plan date on here?
Yes, we do.
10/5/2020.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second,
Second by Mike. Roll call vote. Art,
Aye.
Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. And your
Thank
next
you. Thank you.
your next hearing, Steve, it's fine for me to open that and continue that RDA?
I would till the second, so we can put it on the agenda.
We're gonna do that, okay, Bob? Because we did not get it on the agenda.
Yeah, you can discuss it or just continue.
No, because it's not on our agenda.
Okay. That's why I kind of add a little information to the previous description, basically to show what we're doing. But if I would entertain a motion to continue that hearing till, what is it, the 2nd?
Yeah, let me just read the public notice first so that we don't lose that. So
Okay.
you paid
Yeah,
for that
open
already.
and close, yes.
Okay, all right.
It's in the mixing.
The Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on October 19th at 7 p.m. for a request for determination of applicability filed by Jack Goodison, located at 55 Lakeshore Drive, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves the relocation of a shed and crushed stone base, removal of a pile of debris, and restoration of vegetation within the buffer zone of Lake Manchog. Public participation will be via means only, virtual means only, pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order of suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, section 18, the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Douglas Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda, posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice of intent may be examined electronically by contacting Conservation Commission. 508-476-4205. So, little mishap on that notice, but it was not posted on our agenda, so I will entertain a motion to continue the RDA to November 2nd.
So moved.
Art, got that? Motion's been made by Art,
Seconded.
second by Katie Grace. Roll call vote. Art,
Aye.
Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Okay, we will see you on the 2nd.
Okay, thank you very much for your good work.
Thank you.
Hey, Bob.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob.
Good night.
Bye, Steve. Bye.
Bye, Bob.
Bye, Steve.
Okay, next item on the agenda is an RDA public meeting for 25 Ritchie Road, Sabina Saina. I will read the notice.
For you.
If the notice is there, it's not. Hold on one second.
Ну, я же сказала. I'm here.
Okay, just one moment. I'm going to read
Yeah,
the ad.
I didn't see a copy of it over the weekend.
Okay.
Do you know if you got a copy, Sabina? Do you know if you got a copy of the the legal ad? Did you put the legal ad in the paper?
Yeah, I have, but not just right now. I'm so sorry. I can't speak English very well, but I have interpreter. She's my daughter. She's
Right.
here
Great,
now.
perfect.
Right.
Yeah. I sent it the copy for town hall, but if you want, I'm not sure. Я не знаю, как им показать ее сейчас.
She don't know how to show you guys.
Громче надо говорить.
So I gave you a copy. I gave you a copy of the template for the newspaper.
Да, скажи.
Yeah.
Ты можешь мне перевести, когда
Did
говорит?
Did you submit the ad? Did you submit the newspaper ad?
Ты записал вот это новое новости пакета.
Какие пакеты новостей?
She don't know.
Какие новости пакеты?
No, I think she just don't understand. What is that?
Что это?
In the Telegram and Gazette.
Я получила телеграмму.
Yeah.
Newspaper direct.
Yeah, she have it.
Нет, newspaper в газету мы не отправляли, нет.
Oh, no.
Скажи, что не отправляли.
We will have to move your request. The legal ad needs to be placed in the newspaper.
Let me see if I can bring. Can they see? Can you see? Do they have the screen? Because I sent them a couple of copies. I can maybe show them what it would look like. Or let's see.
Skажи, что нам сказали, что не надо в газету размещать.
Oh, so they someone told them that they don't need put it in the newspaper.
Инспектор.
The inspector told them that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
Yeah, can you see the screen? Yeah, because I gave them a copy of this and filled it in for them. This is what has to be in the paper. I don't think it's Sabina. Can you see this?
Yeah, I see.
So I gave you a template. I gave you this template to fill out.
Он давал тебе это, чтобы ты заполнила.
Нет, он не давал. Он, что, мне надо было в газету это отправлять? Мне дали форму. Скажи, что мне дали форму.
Steve, could you maybe
Ты
touch
можешь? Мне дали форму. В ней
Ну,
не
он
было.
дал это.
Не было этого.
Oh, so she said that she had like she get the form,
Yeah.
but it wasn't this.
Я не видела
She
этого.
didn't saw this.
Okay. Are you going to be at the office tomorrow, Steve?
Tomorrow night.
Okay. Are you available tomorrow night to go meet with Steve at the town hall?
Well, you can give me a call.
Завтра?
Завтра.
Town hall's not open.
Okay, so we have to call you tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
So you need to place the ad, the sheet that Steve gave you, and fax it in or email it into the Telegram.
Because I think she's getting confused because she was working with the building inspector about the trees, and he probably said that he didn't need a permit or with in relationship to maybe the building, but they contacted me, and so we had quite a few phone calls and some emails, and I gave her the form. They filled out the RDA form,
Okay.
and they filled out and I gave them a copy of the ad.
Okay. Well, we can't really do anything now, so we'll put you on for November 2nd. Okay, and the ad needs to be placed.
Опять.
However, we can give Steve a call tomorrow.
Что он сказал?
Просто запомни.
Steve, do you want to, so Steve's got some nice pictures. If anybody wants to go check out the marked trees, right?
Right. Right. So, I mean, you have, there's quite a big, there's 4 large trees, you know. I know you got the 2 right behind the house, but there's 2 other big ones that you plan on taking down.
So they want the 2 trees to cut out because like the 2 of them is like really close to the house. Because like if it's gonna be like a really strong wind or something else, the trees probably will fell out basically. So and also she said that she filled some pages that you give it to her, but yeah. So she said she.
Видео нашего дома есть. Они скажут, что они очень опасны для дома. Мы не можем строиться, потому что мы боимся, что вот эти 2 дерева.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. And so they scared to start like the project, like the build a house, because they have to put there a lot of monies. And like if it's gonna be the bad weather and like trees gonna fall, they have to redo stuff again. So it probably won't like really make any sense to start it again. So they had the idea to just kind of ask for permission to cut them and after start it.
Right.
Right, so we need the ad placed in the newspaper and you'll be on the meeting for November 2nd.
But just make sure you're including all the trees, because when I was back there was more than 2 trees. It looked like there might have been 3 or 4 that were right, you know, right behind the house. So just make sure you're clear on what you want to have removed.
And you need to mark them and maybe amend your request, your RDA, to include the other trees that Steve's talking about. You need all the trees that you want taken down. On your.
We think about a lot. Скажи, что мы думали о том, чтобы несколько деревьев спилить. Но для нас, скажи, вот эти 2 дерева, которые близкие сильно к нам, они очень важны сейчас.
Okay, so they thought to cut like not just 2 of them, but a little more, like a few more of it. But for now, it's really important to cut the 2 of them because they're really close, like 2 meters, probably maybe 1.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have a lot of it.
Высокий, старый, да, несколько.
Yeah, but this 2 is more like older and taller. So it's kind of, this 2 of them like much.
The ones that are in the patio. Yep, I have pictures of them. Yep.
So you need to, I'll say it one more time. You need to include every tree that you eventually want to take down. You need to include that in your request. So then even if you don't take them down right away, they can still be included in your permit. So you don't have to come back to take them down in the future.
I understand.
So with whatever trees you would like to be taken down, mark those and include them on your little form, your RDA.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. If you only put 2,
Thank
then
you
we
so
can
much.
do the 2. But if you put 5 and then you just do the 2 now and then you do the 2 next year, that's okay too.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I understand. Thank you so much.
Call me tomorrow.
Yeah, please
Mhm.
call Steve though so that we can get that sorted out.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Have
so
a good night. Yeah.
Thank you. So
Tomorrow night.
tomorrow evening, call Steve, right?
Yes. 205. You have the phone number? Do you want to write it down? Do you have a paper?
Yeah, she has it. I think they called me before.
Нет, Стивена. Мы звонили ему, да? Тому Стивену позвонить. Да, есть все. Есть.
Yeah, she have it.
All right.
Okay.
Please make sure you call him, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
All right, thank
Sure.
you. Have a
Thank
good
you. I'm
And-
sorry. I'm very nervous. It's my
okay.
first time
That's okay. There's no reason to
meeting,
be nervous.
public
Okay.
meeting,
No
like
problem.
my school and yours, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Good night.
Okay,
too.
thank you so much. Have a
You're
good
welcome.
evening.
You too. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the notice of intent for a public hearing, 107 Wallam Lake Road, Wallam State Park, Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation. So the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on October 19th, 2020 at 7 p.m. for a notice of intent filed by Massachusetts DCR located at Wallam Lake, Douglas State Forest for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, Mass General Law 131, Section 40. The proposed work involves installation of 2 bioretention basins and infiltration improvements to capture and treat stormwater runoff at Wallam Lake. The work will occur partially within the bordering land subject to flooding resource area in the 100-foot buffer zone of the inland bank of Wallam Lake. Public participation will be via virtual means only pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, chapter 30A, section 18, and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Douglas Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation. The public may participate in this meeting via remote participation. A website for the meeting will be provided on the conservation agenda posted on the town's website at least 48 hours prior to the meeting. Copies of the notice of intent may be examined electronically by contacting the Conservation Commission at 508-476-4000-205. Okay. So, who do we have?
It's
Who's
Al.
here for
Hey,
name and
hi,
address?
Alex Patterson from ESS Group on behalf of DCR.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Great.
So do
Would
you
you
want
like me to?
an overview of the activity?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's, I think, a relatively straightforward, the description that you just read is essentially all of the work that's proposed. DCR is aware of stormwater and erosion issues at Douglas State Forest, primarily in the vicinity of the public swim beach, which is located on the northwestern shoreline of Wallam Lake. So the proposed activities include constructing 2 bioretention basins in the vicinity of the swim beach, and there's sort of a picnic area and some buildings interspersed in this portion of the park. This is kind of to the southwest of the boat ramp. And then it's not shown, well, it's easier to see on one of the other plan sheets, Steve, but this is kind of the drainage area map for the 2 bioretention basins. But the third element is they're proposing some soil amendments right up gradient of the swim beach next to the bathroom facilities, which essentially just entails excavating soil out of an area and replacing the subsoil with sand, and then amending the topsoil to create a sort of 50-50 sand loam mixture, and then just replacing it to the existing grade, and reseeding it. So it'll look the same as it does now. It'll just have improved infiltration capacity because the material will be sandier. And then the two bioretention basins are a little farther up gradient. One of them is intended to capture stormwater coming down from the paved parking lot and most of the paved road that enters the park in that area. That's the BB1, which is farther to the north. And then the other one, which is to the south, BB2, has a smaller drainage that includes other areas of paved sidewalks and some of the wooded areas and building roofs in that area. So the bioretention basins are essentially sort of rain garden, sediment forebay type features that have a mulch layer with soil underneath and then pea gravel and crushed stone. So basically just capturing stormwater, infiltrating it. The two bioretention basins are entirely outside of any jurisdictional resource or buffer zone. The soil amendment area is partially within the 100-year flood and the priority habitat. So we do need natural heritage approval, which we're still waiting on. And I believe we're also still waiting for a file number from DEP.
And so, it might be easiest for everyone. I did a quick video. So maybe as I'm walking through this, if you want to just kind of give an overview, probably give everyone a good.
Sure.
I don't know if you can see the
Yeah.
video. All right, so this is the boat. I'm pointing. This is the back to the boat ramp. It's the picnic area. And I think to the right of me is where that B1 detention area is going.
Yeah, I believe so. It's kind of at the end of the road.
This paved area. I think it's going right.
Yeah, I think that's the road that's going up to the large parking lot or
Yeah.
the boat ramp parking lot.
This is that. Let me back it up. I'll start from the beginning. This is the boat. This is going back up to the boat ramp, and to my left is where the detention pond is. So I'll pan all the way around. Carrie, I think Carrie's here too, so he probably could confirm that. I think it's to the first detention areas to the right. You have a little access path right to the right here.
Yeah.
Back up to the upper parking lot.
Yep, that's right.
And then, so I think right here where these picnic tables are is where you plan on putting some.
Yes, so that's where one of the bioretention basins would go. So obviously the picnic tables would be relocated. But again, that's outside of any resource area or buffer. And then I think you're walking towards the soil amendment area, is that lawn area to the left, closer to the lake.
I get that too. So I'll go to the second one first. So you have your water fountain that's on the plan, and then you have the two horseshoe pit areas to the right. I think this is where the second area is going.
Yes. Yep.
Here's the water
So
fountain.
it's kind of to the south and west.
If anyone sees the plan and the G drive, and then here's the horseshoe pit. So I think it's going right about where these horseshoe pits are.
Yes.
And then as I'm walking through the field, and then off to the left where you have that third part, you can kind of see from the rain. This is Saturday, so the heavy rain on Friday, where you had some inundation and runoff.
Yeah, there's some collection.
It's pretty soggy. And then to Alex, I think to the left.
Yes.
Is where you, as I walk through, I'll speed it up a little.
Yep. Yeah. So it's just past the building. So kind of on the far end of the view is the soil amendment area.
Let's see if I can speed it up a little here.
Yeah, so it's this lawn area that you're walking towards now would be the soil amendment area. And that's partially in the 100-year flood and the buffer zone and the priority habitat. Although we don't expect any natural heritage issues because it's really an aquatic plant that is mapped here. It's just kind of, they put a buffer on the lake and we happen to be within that, but there's no habitat for that species in the area where they're going to be working.
Right. So one area is up to the left on the other side of this cabin. And then the other one's out over here to the, as you come down from the boat ramp.
Yep.
And then where I'm standing.
Yeah, I checked. You don't have a number.
Yeah, no, I didn't see a DEP number, no.
Board, any questions, concerns? Art?
No.
Katie Grace?
Maybe it's a silly question because I'm looking at the report. Are you taking the horseshoe pits out?
Believe they are, yes.
Okay, no, it's fine. I was trying to visualize where it was. So this is a bioretention basin. So is it just like crushed rock and riprap, or does it have some kind of like wetland species that help with the water?
Yeah, it would be planted with herbaceous species.
Okay.
There should be a plant list in the plans, but the surface would be mulch, and then there would be plantings within that.
Okay. So okay.
So basically, like a rain garden.
But like a big one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mike, any questions?
No.
Mark?
How many trees are being removed in the jurisdictional area?
So only the soil amendment area is within the Concom's jurisdiction. Steve, if you open the plans, it should show, but I actually don't think they need to clear any trees. I think it's been, the shape of it was designed specifically to avoid the trees that are around that lawn area.
You've done a lot of clearing previously too. Right, Steve? They did that big tree clearing.
They did. Let me open up the.
Yeah, we went and saw that. That was all the dead oaks that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here's the one of the plans.
Yeah, Steve, if you go up maybe about 20 pages or so, it should be clearer into the actual plan set.
Yeah, it's not, I don't have that. I don't think I loaded all that. I just cut out, just because the file was so big, I just cut out the proposed and existing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, you can see how there are two tree lines and it kind of zigzags through them right where you're zooming in right there. Yes, right there. So that kind of funny looking tail on the north end kind of goes between the trees specifically to avoid having to clear any more trees.
What are the round circles? What do they represent?
That big circle that's kind of around. Oh, I think that's the zone. That's the wellhead protection area for the drinking water well at the park.
Sure.
You have an interim well.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I see it now. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, do you have any questions?
Nope, I'm all set.
Okay.
I have one more question.
Sure.
What happens to the soil that comes out from the from each area?
They would most likely stockpile it probably in the paved parking area, and then I'm sure they could reuse it as landscaping material. DCR always needs soil for somewhere, some reason, so they'd put erosion controls around it and then just take it off site as needed.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anyone in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this application? Unfortunately, we have to entertain a motion to continue this hearing to November 2nd.
So moved.
Second.
And made by Mike, second by Art, was it?
Art, yep.
Roll call vote. Art,
Aye.
Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Okay. Steve, they can start teeing things up though, right?
Start what?
Teeing everything up outside of their jurisdiction.
I'm not sure. They probably would want to wait until they got natural heritage and DEP's comments. I think they plan. I mean, I don't think they're going to piecemeal it, right? They're going to, right, Alex? You're going to wait no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's up to them. In theory, they could start working on the bioretention basins because they're outside of both the Concom and natural heritage jurisdiction, but they would probably, if they're putting it all out to bid together, then it would make more sense to wait.
Right. But I don't have any problems if they want to do, any work outside the jurisdiction, but right. I figured.
Yeah. And just threw it out there.
Sure.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We'll see you on November 2nd.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you. Request for a certificate of compliance, 115 Walnut Street.
All right, you got 3 items. Let's see if get through these relatively quick.
Kitty. Who's a good titian?
Is this Walnut Street?
Yes, 115.
Okay, yep. So here's the I'll bring up the as-built plan.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen this.
So this is the one they were requesting some activity, right?
Certificate of compliance, yep.
Yeah, okay. But this had come in front of us previously.
Yeah, well,
We're just closing this out, right?
Just closing it out, yep. And then I have some photos if I'll bring those up real quick.
I thought that the proposed driveway was supposed to be on the other side of the house.
Let me see the as-built plan. No, I think it was on this side because the septic's up on the hill.
Are you sure? Oh, maybe I'm just
Different.
hallucinating. Where's?
This is a different project.
Okay, all right, sorry.
You have the drive under.
Okay.
You can see by the, let me bring up the photos. So here's the house. And 15. Wetlands is more to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the septic on top.
Okay.
And minimal disturbance around, and then everything else is pretty much on the backside and around the other side of the house is, I think, outside the buffer.
Yeah, a little less also on the impact with the driveway and the clearing.
Yep.
Than what was proposed. Okay.
Oh, yep. They did minimum clearing here. I think they just did what they did to get the grade.
Yeah.
I didn't see any outstanding issues, to tell you the truth.
Good. Everything's stable.
It is.
Okay. Bird, any?
Lawn needs a fertilizer.
What?
Lawn needs a fertilizer.
Come on. Not everybody can get their golf course. Green.
There was no planting for the side by the driveway.
I don't believe so. I could double check that, but I had him put it on top of the as-built, on top of the proposed plan.
This was from 2007.
It was,
Thank you.
Yeah. So this is a super old plan.
Okay.
and I think the stuff on the right is outside the buffer zone, a lot of it.
Yeah.
Here's a 100-foot line up here, so was that the 50?
When did we start marking electrical meters? Or stop marking electrical meters? It's cute.
Hmm?
I've just never seen a plan where they showed exactly where the electrical meter was.
Where is it?
Oh, that was proposed.
Okay.
That's just it's helpful for the developer to know where the electric's coming in on the house.
For sure. I just, like I said, I'm not used to seeing it. Like on our plans, they.
We usually don't put electric meter, we just put overhead wire, OHW, like you can see right there, and then you know where the meter's going. You don't really call out the electric
The
meter.
whole meter. Like how much the meter is protruding from the house. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I don't know if it looks like that, but
But it-
2007. Okay, board, do we have any questions on this? It's stabilized, it's very old.
Yeah.
We were all young when this was approved.
Some of us were younger than others.
In the space-time continuum, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Some of us were, yes.
I was allowed to drink.
All right, well, Eric, I don't know if Eric was even out of diapers yet on that one.
Okay.
So I will entertain a motion to issue a certificate on this 115 Walnut.
So moved.
Motion been made by Art, seconded by Katie Grace. Roll call vote. Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Art,
Aye.
Eric.
I,
Okay. Art moved to the bottom for some reason on my screen.
Okay. Don't matter.
A request for a certificate of compliance for 179 Wallace Street.
So this is, if you're coming from the center of town and cross the reservoir, this is on the right after the causeway.
Yep.
So this is, let me go through the pictures first. We had this last week, but they didn't do the as-built plan.
Right.
So I'll just show you the photos and I'll show you they submitted the as-built on top of the proposed plan.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a zoning, they need a ZBA approval, so they pinned the foundation, so it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, it looks spot on. They did add a set of stairs.
They did. So let me see, show you the plan real quick. All right, so here's the plan.
So they added two sets of stairs.
Yeah, so the red, you don't see the black because they pinned it. The proposed is right on top of the red. This is actually a red line around the box that you can't see because it's. And then
Right.
black is proposed, red is.
So if they added steps to the back, does that make them non-compliant
With who?
with us?
Well, it depends. It's these back here.
No, on the back, on the water side.
Yeah, substantially compliant. It was probably just missed how you're gonna get down off the porch without a set of stairs. And there's grass there. There was already grass. So as far as the limit of disturbance, they didn't, disturb additionally
Well, I mean,
on that. the
technically,
front stairs were also missing.
how old is this one?
Couple of years.
I mean, because it did, like, if I was the homeowner is here, or if anyone is here, I would discourage, you know, because I do think that the porch is not significantly, but I do think that the steps do impact the resource area. They're non-permeable surfaces and they're non-negligible square footage. But I'm not going to say that it's not. I'm not going to say that it's substantial, but it definitely like is worth noting.
Yeah, that's why we have that list to make sure we have all stairways
Yeah.
shown on the plans before we approve them. This was is it 2019?
I don't know. Mine's not rotated the same way as yours.
Yeah, I mean, this was a rebuild, right? Demo and a rebuild.
Okay.
So the clause is substantially completed according to the order that was issued. So board, any motion, opinion? You want to deny it and have them take off the steps and come back?
Jump out the door.
I mean,
you can't have them now.
Yeah, exactly. You could fall like those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You have to
Just
sit off
looking.
the edge of your porch and dangle your legs.
You forgot to add steps. So it's up to the board. It is just shy from the 25. We can issue the certificate. We can not issue it and have them take them off. We can not issue it, or we can issue it and have them come back to the board for an RDA for the steps. That's pretty much it. Three options. 2 options.
I'm gonna make a motion to issue it.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second.
Second by Mike. Roll call vote. Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Art,
All right,
Mark,
No.
Eric.
I'll say no.
Okay, Tracy, aye. The ayes have it. Okay, moving on. Volunteer work on Manchog land field cutting. Steve, do you want to fill us in about this?
Yeah, so we have, everyone knows the land we own off of Manchog Street. On the, to the right where you have those big steps that go up and over the gravel knoll.
across from Mumford Street.
Exactly.
Yep.
So there's a field back there. We usually, I have it cut every year, every other year, and it's due to be cut. And the neighbor if you're going up the steps, the neighbor to the left, she has a brush hog and she's willing to volunteer her time to cut the field for us.
Oh,
Oh.
And so the form, yeah, she filled out the forms, went to the Board of Selectmen's administrative office. They approved it. So it's just getting final approval from the commission.
Awesome.
Save us the time of
Awesome.
have someone else do it. It's a good time of year to do it. Usually we wait to this time of year after the turtles have done their migration,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty much around this time. So
Awesome. You want a consensus or a vote?
yeah, the vote would be consensus, I guess.
What do you want?
Sorry, surprise me either or.
Or do we have any questions or comments on this?
no, I
Volunteer?
think it's great.
Okay.
Okay, I don't want to. the person who's there who would do the mowing has familiarity with the space, understands the extent of like the area that they're
Yeah,
just
I
like,
can walk it over with her. She's the neighbor. She actually she walks her horses in those areas in that field too.
okay,
And so she's been there for 10+ years. She knows what it looks like when it's
okay.
cut. And it's pretty
Thank
self. I mean, it hasn't overgrown that much. I mean, it's still a field, but you're getting some of the invasive shrubs that are
Oh, I'm
coming in.
sure it's
So it's
probably full of bittersweet in the edges and stuff.
right.
like
There's
that.
a few of
Yeah.
them, but it's pretty well distinct. The
Okay.
edges.
Thank you.
So I'll entertain a motion if no one else has any questions about it.
Yeah, I move that we take up Stacy on her offer to volunteer to clear this field for us.
Okay,
That's
motion's
good.
been made.
I seconded.
Katie Grace second, roll call vote. Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
I,
Mark,
Aye.
Art,
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Okay. So they can have at it. Steve, do you have anything else? We don't have meeting minutes.
You know,
I passed along some.
she got them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know if everybody got them.
She might have sent me some, but I probably didn't. Got buried the email. I have to take a look. Maria retired, administrative secretary, so it's just getting acclimated to that process. So hopefully we'll have some minutes for the next meeting. But I did, Art. I emailed your comments. I think your comments was from the meeting before. Might have been from the old.
Yeah. Well, what happens? It seems like on the August 10th meeting, and then it continued on the September 14th meeting, but they're listing them on the minutes in order of the agenda, not in order of the way we took them up. And so while their timestamp is wrong, and that's what they're going by on the video, as opposed to, like what my actual notes say, where we might have taken up something at 9 o'clock and they've got it at 8:45, and we weren't. That's not what happened,
Okay. Yeah.
So,
So I
that's
think
why I created like a little format for you to see the changes.
okay, that'd be great. So yeah, I think if anyone with the new minute, I had a couple of emails back and forth. So she is so she's trying to get acclimated. So I think she'll probably watch this meeting. So whatever constructive critique, on what we'd like to see and to make, I'm sure after probably 4 or 5 meetings, she'll get everything down pat. Would be very helpful. So thank you, Art. So she commented on she watched the meeting. She watched the meeting last time and saw the comments that you made, and so she's trying to make those as she's learning on how to do the minutes, which would be great.
And if everybody could just double check their emails for the signatures. So I sent all the documents twice out. So if I could get everybody to just refresh to make sure that they have everything. I don't know if we want to just have Steve for like a signature page. I saw Auburn's doing this thing where they're just like cutting out like the signatures and placing them, cut and paste, or if we want to try to still do the electronic signatures, or if you like Steve going around and giving you the paperwork.
I mean, honestly, I had no problem with Steve driving around with the paperwork, but also doing the electronic signatures during the meeting just now worked fine as well.
Yeah, I need you to look back in your emails though to see if there's any missing that you have, because I resent 4 documents to this morning and I'm still waiting on a couple of those. You sent an old one in and a new one. Unfortunately, from Adobe on my desktop, I can't put complete in any order, but when I go from Word to signature, I can do any order because I usually do you first, Katie Grace. So, and then
that's so sweet of you.
That was last Saturday, which that's how I do things.
I don't think you realize how often I check my personal email.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I check my personal email like once every 2 weeks.
Yeah. So,
I check
I
my
think-
work email like every 5 minutes, but I check this
Right.
email.
That shows you where your priorities are.
so you're gonna be last on the list.
Yep.
So
And
I
if
think,
we
I
don't,
think we should ask Eric, since he's gonna be the new member, full-time member, you know?
So, Eric, you need to, yeah, so you'll be first. So
Okay.
because you're the newest member, so just let us know, let Steve know when you get appointed. The selectmen's meeting's tomorrow night and in 2 weeks, I think, maybe. So it might be the 2 week, but it should be before the next meeting. So, no, probably not. But no, no. So maybe they'll do it tomorrow night. I don't know if you can get that email sent over to Suzanne, but yeah, if everybody could just, Steve, you got a couple things that we need to sign. I do have at least the 23 Webster Road, I have completed and I sent that over to you. That one's good
Oh,
to
good.
go. So I'll just double check because now it's a little confusing and and I know Mark's not gonna sign one of them, so that's okay, but I need everybody else to sign it. So we'll get through it.
Do you have Suzanne's email?
Yeah. It's S Kane.
Gain with a K.
Oh wait, sorry. U-S-A. Yeah, SKANE at douglasma.org.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem. All right, anybody else have anything? Steve, no?
No, I'm good.
Our next meeting's not for so many days away.
2 weeks.
Good.
Is it 2 weeks? Oh
We
yeah,
put,
it is
we put
exactly.
a lot of stuff on the agenda for November 2nd too.
Did I?
A lot. Yeah.
Well, some stuff should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But okay, well, I'll let everybody go. If no one else has anything, I'll entertain. What? Oh, you're leaving, bye?
I move to adjourn.
Okay, motion's been made.
Second.
Second by Mike. Roll call vote. Katie Grace,
Aye.
Mike,
Hi.
Mark,
Aye.
Art,
All right.
Eric.
Hi.
Bye, guys.
Take care, folks.
Thank you.